So you can really see how it's brought back to bare steel, or how it is at bare steel, and then they slowly add on to it. So here's your Princess Theatre. This is where you'll be coming to see all the shows. So this isn't obviously the roof at the moment, this is the support because the workers are working on the roof. But this is how deck 6 looks. And this is your stage, this is your actual stage, the bare back stale. And that's where your lift pit's going to be, where you can come up and down for all the dancers. It's quite cool, eh? What do you think? It's deck 7, starboard side aft. This is the passenger area where you've got all the crew which will be operating the lifeboats and the MES station, but this is still a passenger deck where you can have all your sun chairs out and you can come all the way to the aft section of the ship. So it's all going to be wonderful little uppy decking with your shuffleboard. If you want to have a look at your balconies up here, you can see all your balconies. Pretty cool, I love it. And then we'll come over here to the aft section. So no official railings yet, but they're coming soon, so we've been promised. As you can see, we're currently on the outfitting dock, and we're just fitting in all of our radars and the moorings so we don't go anywhere. This is the dry dock that we came out of. So you can see just down here, that's where we were built. So that's where we were built, and then filled up with the water. The tugs pulled us out and put us onto this outfitting dock. And as you can see now, because we have no reason, we can free up the dock for construction for other vessels in Fincantieri. So now we're on the outfitting dock. This is when the magic happens, so to speak, and they start to turn us from a shell into a ship. So, and then when all the crew start to come, well, let's just go from there.
Regal Princess was built in Monfalcone, Italy, in a shipyard called Fincantieri. It's a shipyard that Princess Cruises has a long association with. Many of our ships have been built in the Fincantieri shipyard. They do such a spectacular job, and it does take quite a few years to put a ship like this together. Many man hours from the Fincantieri yard, and of course from the shipboard crew members. And when the crew members start coming into Italy, when they start coming into Monfalcone, they don't move on board right away. They live in hotels or apartments or communities, and they go from their community or their apartment to the shipyard each and every day. And then eventually, when the ship is closer to the end of her construction, the crew will all move on board, which is a big celebratory day, and the work just continues. And actually, it's a 24-hour process. Work never stops when we're in the yard, from the dry dock to the wet dock, until that moment when we are on our way.
Actually, the process of a new building is very complicated, complex. You have Fincantieri building the ship. CCS is the team that are a group of inspectors by the Carnival Corporation that they are follow the stage of a building, and they make sure that all the test memoranda, all the commissioning they go through. So they are the legal part. Princess Cruise team, they coming, and we are like I will say no observer, but we are part of owner that we need to make sure that these two people they do their job, and then when the ship will become Princess Cruise, when we own the ship, all these important thing has been done on the right way, so we will have less problem, we will have less, and then we will sail on safety condition. This is my first stage as executive member, as a staff engineer on my head, like the staff captain and all the other member of the executive office.
If you're talking about the safety of everybody on board is quite a big step forward to have a ship that's designed for safe return to port, which basically means that instead of needing to abandon the ship in the event of an emergency, we can convert the ship into one big massive lifeboat.
It was electrifying. People were extremely excited. There was a real buzz going on in the shipyard and on board prior to the crew actually moving on board. I think there's so much happening that we don't always realize the importance of every single department and what it takes to get crew members to the shipyard, to get them to move on board the ship and get ready for our first passenger cruise.
It is from a company and from a ship's, from the company point of view, and also for the ship management, it is important first of all to keep a balance within the fleet. We have an amazing crew as Princess, and of course the company and us, the shipboard management, tries to find a good balance to choose a team which has experience and some new people come on the ship to open a new build and to maintain a very high standard. And then of course 2 new ships means a couple of thousand new crew members to find, to hire, to collect people from different ships, to select the right people, but to keep also the standard in the fleet very high. That's probably one of the main challenges.
When the crew are flown out to Italy and when we come into the shipyard, it's very exciting because it's a very different process than what we're normally used to. Now for us in the entertainment department, the singers, the dancers, the crew staff, bar staff, dining room, no matter what your job is, everybody pitches in and helps 110%. Whether we're helping out in our area, or we might be helping out carrying furniture up that gangway, or we might be helping out in a guest stateroom. Everybody is hands-on and everybody is on the same page because we're all trying to get the ship ready for our guests to come on board.
And the new people, you can see from the face of them that they look like, be on the new house without furniture, and then they look like lost. But after a while, in generally, I see that most of the crew members they was know what they was supposed to do, because the key personnel on each other department they was already on the Royal, on the other new building, so there was give a distraction. There was inform the people on the important issue.
The shipyard setup is very, very different than when you come on a ship, which is, everything is running and you come and sit in your office and your phone is working and your computer. You come to a big piece of steel, which is put together within less than 2 years, and we touch the soul and the heart and the spirit with the crew and the living organism being on the ship into the ship. So setting up a ship is a big task, it's hard work. The crew works very much well with each other. To achieve this, works very, very hard. It doesn't matter what rank, what position, what nationality you have. Everybody has a boiler suit and hands-on, loads the ship and has one aim and one goal: to get the ship running and successful.
Sometimes you don't have air conditioning, sometimes you don't have water, sometimes you have to leave the ship for this emergency test during the time that you are in a new building. This ship is also a new ship, and then we have a safety to do port, so we conduct a lot of tests.
There's so much to do. There's just getting the stores on board. There's the training in people doing their jobs, understanding the layout of, if you're a waiter, you've got to understand where your table is in the restaurant, where to pick up the food in the galley. And it doesn't matter what department you're in, you have to learn and understand your job. And then on top of that, of course, we've got the emergency duties. And I could see from the very first day people joining, I went every single day to meet the embarking crew on the day that they joined and try to explain the timeline and what the expectations were. And I could see from each and every group of people that joined that there was an expectation, there was a sort of buzz and there was an excitement. And I think it almost became infectious towards the end. It was a wonderful thing to say, and it was a huge testament to the crew.
And people are getting dirty because they're really busy as they're running around morning, noon, and night. Remember, it's a 24-hour operation building a cruise ship, and even more so toward the end, because we're rushing and we're trying to get everything done within that safe manner. We're trying to get everything done for the launch date, because when that launch date comes and our guests are going to be coming up that gangway, we want that wow factor to be there. So there's a sense of real excitement for the crew members, and because it gives them a lot of pride being a part of something so big And this is a monstrosity. You look at Regal Princess, she is a large ship. She's a gorgeous ship. And when you drive up, for me personally, when you drive up and you see Regal Princess sitting there in the yard, she's already in the water, and you see her, especially like in the evening with the lights on, she looks absolutely incredible. And you know what you're doing is going to make a difference in people's lives.
I have to say that compared to the Royal Princess, the Regal, compared to the Royal, the Regal was much ahead, and then there was not too much to do actually, you know, and the team came all together, so it took actually only few days, you know, to be ready actually, you know, so it was actually, I have to say, easy task.
Well, I think there is always a huge amount of excitement as people build up to embarking the first passengers, and I don't think this ship was any different to that. I've been lucky enough to have done 5 new builds previously in different ranks. This is my first as captain, but we were very lucky in that the ship was being very well prepared by the shipyard, and I think we were quite nicely ahead of the game, and the crew, when they joined, could see and feel an end in sight and could see the probability and the expectation of embarking passengers on the dates that we did, which was the 16th of May. And so the 16th of May became a goal and a target, and I think it kind of had an amount of buzz. This is the first ship that has ever embarked passengers the day after delivery of the ship, which is an enormous feat to manage.
We need to be a perfect, a real consummate toast since from the beginning. We can, of course, we feel the pressure of a wonderful and perfect start, but since day one, you know, our topic's priority is to be a perfect consummate toast.
It gives you enormous pride, because when you do this and when you're out here, because you know that you're making a difference in people's lives. People pay a lot of money to come out here, and we want to make sure that A, they're able to relax, they're able to enjoy. We take them to all different destinations around the world. Look at the ship that they're on. This ship is first class in capital letters all the way. And when you're part of a new build, it does make you feel amazing. And you can ask any crew member that was here in the shipyard, and they would probably all say the same exact thing.